I'm about to save you time, I'm about to save you money, and I'm about to save your hair from breaking. All you gotta do is stay tuned and watch this video. Listen people, I hear a lot of compliments, which is really nice to get, that my hair looks really great, but let me assure you my hair is not the best. It is a bit thin, it's a bit dry, and it is prone to breakage, but I have learned a whole bunch of stuff. Over 3 years ago, I had a perfectly big, fluffy head of hair. I lost all my hair. You can find out why if you wanna watch other videos of mine. I grew it back, then I lost some of it again with a lot of hair loss, then I grew that back, and the hair that I have now is just not what it used to be. It's much drier, thinner, more prone to breaking, but I've learned lots of stuff and I'm about to show it to you and share it with you. But what you need to know is there's just one word, and this one word is gonna help you with your hair loss due to breakage so much, and it's gonna make your hair look a lot better, and that is reverse. You've got to start reversing the things you do, and I promise you, you're gonna have less damage from breaking and your hair's gonna look better. This is not gonna cost you any money. This is not really gonna cost you a lot of extra time or anything. So if you're curious, all you gotta do is watch. I want you all to start reversing or thinking about how you can change your hair care routine and the things that you're doing to your hair for better, healthier hair. Now, this is interesting but true. A lot of things in the skincare community have changed. A lot of dermatologists have changed the kind of thinking and advice that they give over the years. I know because I'm of the age where I can remember how things used to be, but somewhere along the line, hair care did not go with it. Hair care is not really one of those things typically looked after by physicians. Maybe to a small degree, they'll tell you what to use, what not to use, but sort of in terms of like routines and stuff like that is not really kind of information that you typically get from them. But let's just look at skincare. Okay, so we remember back in the day, for myself anyway, that a lot of the thinking about like if you had acne, for instance, was to really dry out all that acne, you'd use like very powerful astringent things like rubbing alcohol. Sometimes people put up straight up rubbing alcohol. And then we know you have to moisturize your skin. Even if you have acne, you definitely have to wear SPF, you have to moisturize, you have to give your skin that hydration. And somewhere along the line, it diverted. Like skincare it modernized, and hair care kind of is stuck in what I like to call the Thermique era. So if you can remember Thermique, that was a shampoo from a long time ago, which most of you probably will not remember. Back when sort of you had long, blonde, straight hair, like that was the person like in the 70s and the 80s, like that was typical hair. And what about all the rest of us? But thinking about hair care hasn't changed and evolved that much. I wish it would, because it would save a lot of us a lot of hair breakage. My first hair care tip really is about reversing what you do is just even start with when you're buying shampoo. Am I saying you need to buy shampoo? Absolutely not. Am I saying you need to use my favorite shampoos? No, but if you're curious as to what they are, go ahead and check them out down in the description box. What I like to tell people though is, so you're probably like walking into say a pharmacy or Target or wherever you buy your shampoo, and you're looking at it by concern. So you might be like, oh, I have thinning hair or thin hair and I need to look for a shampoo for thinning hair or that is gonna volumize my hair. Well, I want you to know what those do. The way that those give you volume typically and fullness is they can be stripping. In my experience, all of the shampoos I've used are stripping, and that's great. They do give you more fluff, but the downside is they're drying and they're gonna make your hair more dry, and more dry hair is more prone to breaking. So that's just something to know. What I like to tell people to use is, no matter if you use the kind that I like or not, look for a hydrating or moisturizing shampoo. It should say that somewhere on the bottle. Typically it will say it, and what brand should you use? Look, that's up to you. What I like to tell people is like, what is your favorite brand? Most of us have some sort of line that we like. Some people love the fragrance of Garnier products or like Pantene products. If that's your go-to line and you always love what they do, or Dove or what have you, go ahead and look for a moisturizer. That's a good place to start. Go for the moisturizing or hydrating shampoo of that brand that you like. Just start there. Maybe purchase from somewhere you could return it if you don't like it, because I don't want you to end up with a whole bunch of shampoo you don't necessarily love. A lot of the shampoos we use are simply too drying, too clarifying, just too much. You don't need that much. Like I said, skincare evolved. Skincare evolved away from thinking that you need to strip every last tiny bit of oil, just erase the barrier on your face. Like, we don't want to do that anymore for our skin, no matter what your skin is like. And hair care never went along with that. We're still telling people basically to completely clarify their hair, even if they are struggling with breakage issues. So I would say moisturizing, hydrating. Next time you're buying a shampoo, look for those kinds. This is the point of the video where I ask you to like and subscribe if you are getting something from this content. I really hope you will consider being one of my subscribers. And I also have a Patreon community. So if you want to be a super subscriber and a super fan and you want to help me out make the content that I do, go ahead and join up on Patreon. It is $5 a month. You can cancel anytime. You can even sign up temporarily. But what I do there is I offer more hair care and hair loss support. But that also helps to fund what I do because I don't want to take sponsorships of like scammy type hair loss from like scammy type hair loss product companies and stuff like that. I just don't really want to go that route. But in turn, I need my audience to help support me and help fund what I do so I can keep it free. And if you spend $5 a month, I'm pretty sure I'm going to save you $5 every month in garbage products that you don't need to buy. So if you would consider helping me out there, I'll drop a link below as well and also in the comments. How frequently you're washing your hair is another place that I would like you to start reversing your routine. What do I mean by that is a lot of people struggling with breakage or fine hair. Well, first of all, a lot of them are using the wrong shampoo. They're using something really drying, so their hair always feels brittle. Then they're stuck in this weird cycle of like oily roots and dry mids and ends. And so if you use a moisturizing / hydrating type shampoo, that's going to address some of that. And also people are just doing it too infrequently. Once a week, I would say if you're struggling with hair loss or even breakage, those kind of issues, is just not frequently enough. You wouldn't wash your face just one time a week. At least I hope you don't. You should definitely try and boost up how often you wash your hair. This is something that doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't really cost you that much extra time. I used to once upon a time like to wash my hair maybe once every 5 days. Not because it looked better, it looked terrible by the 5th day, but because I had so much hair, it took forever to dry. But I wish I could go back then. And I know that if I washed my hair a bit more frequently, it wouldn't have taken so long to wash every single time because it would have been less dirty, if that makes sense. So it wouldn't have been the chore. Like doing it more frequently just made for lighter work overall, I've noticed. But not only that, it just really seems to encourage the scalp to be a healthy place. I just don't think that once a week is enough. Speaking from personal experience, speaking from things that other people have told me. Whenever I give this piece of feedback, this is probably one of the pieces of feedback that people say, yeah, that really helped. The moisturizing shampoo and the more frequent washing, it doesn't make you lose more hair. If you think you're losing more hair because you're washing it, that's not how it works. Those are loose hairs that are gonna come out. They're gonna come out at 1 week or they're gonna come out every second day. The act of washing it maybe just loosens it up, but they were on there. If they're coming out, they're on their way out. If you think that just the act of washing your hair, just the motion is something that triggers hair loss, it doesn't. If that were to be true, you would just pull on your hair like this and all of it will come out and none of it will be stuck inside your head. It would be as simple as that. So go ahead, wash more frequently, not less frequently. And I have some things to say now even about how you're shampooing. You got to reverse that too. So that's my next tip. Honeys, and I say honeys because I mean guys, girls, everybody's listening, teenagers, older folks. If you're listening to this, please hear me. You do not need so much lather. I do not know why I see people have so much lather in their hair. If you have tons of lather, you're using too much shampoo. I guarantee you, you do not need this much shampoo. The good news about this is if you're buying an expensive shampoo like my Holy Grail, which is by Kerastase, you will not go through it so quickly. I have a bottle, and when I buy my bottle, that lasts me, even with the length that my hair is at now, half of a year. Because you only need a tiny amount. You should emulsify it between your hands and then use it and then do a second wash where you do that again. But I see people with tons and tons of stuff. You're not a dog. You don't need this much lather. You're not a horse that's been out working that needs to be washed off and is full of sweat absolutely no, you don't need that much lather. I would actually argue that it's probably drying and you're really overdoing it. Cut down on the amount of shampoo you use, cut down on the lather. You should have just a small amount of lather. You really don't need lots and lots of bubbles. If you're doing that, that means you're stuck in the Thermique era. And the reason I'm pretty sure that they show people with this much lather is because if you use more products, obviously you need to buy more products. So if you have a ton of shampoo in your hair and you're using a ton, guess what? You need to replace that more than half a year like I do, I would imagine. So rethink and reverse what you're doing when it comes to shampoo. Hair brushing. Okay, this is another one where I see people make a lot of mistakes. I see them here on YouTube. I see them on Instagram. By the way, join me on Instagram. I'm at shrimpy.mcgee. Find me over there. This is what I see people do. Everybody. They just brushing their hair always and they're yanking it from here. My suggestion is to go from underneath, start back and just gently work your way through. Don't tug so hard, just go through gently. And I learned this the hard way because I have breakage where in the spot that I was constantly landing the brush and yanking it through. What do you think will happen if you are always landing your brush in the exact same spot over 2 years or a year or half a year? or 3 years or 10 years, you're gonna get breakage in that spot. Obviously, like how many times do you think you can slam this brush into your hair and it's not gonna break? So stop doing it that way. It's just very easy. Just start going and just make sure that your bristles are facing upwards. Go through that way. When you're sure you have no tangles, then you can start pulling through the top, which I'm not gonna do right now because my hair is not brushed through, so I don't wanna yank. Like, you know that terrible feeling when you go and it catches on something? That means you didn't go through backwards first. So go through the backwards way, reverse it, and then go from the top down, and you're gonna have less breakage. You just are. Let's talk now about leave-in conditioner. Leave-in conditioners, for instance, this is really popular with the curly girl community. It can be way too heavy, I'd say, for most people. If your hair is very dry, if your hair is very curly, yes, definitely you can use this as a leave-in type product. But I'd say for a lot of us, myself included, this is just too much. So you buy it and you're like, darn, I can't use it. I purchased this thing and it's useless. It's not. Again, reverse. The way that you can use this for really nice, shiny, glossy looking hair is do it before. So don't use it as a leave-in, use it as a pre-treatment. What you do is, you know, you're taking a shower, that's like 15, 20 minutes out. You're gonna have your breakfast first or whatever. You're gonna put this on, just use a little bit of it, and you're gonna just put it all into your hair. You're gonna coat it all really well, because the point is you're gonna shampoo after, right? So you coat that in your hair, you leave it until you're ready to take your shower, you take your shower. Just have your normal shower, shampoo, condition, and you'll see it works really well. Your hair will look really nice. So you still can use leave-in conditioners, but I would say the majority of us actually could benefit from using it before we shampoo and not after, because it can be too heavy afterwards. The next thing I want you to think about reversing is how you're using hair accessories. And when I say hair accessories, I mostly mean elastics. We need an elastic band, right? You need to put up your hair, but here's the thing, they cause breakage. You can get a covered elastic, whatever the case may be, but the fact of the matter is your hair is riding, all of it tends to be riding, even if it's a covered elastic and a thicker one that's supposed to protect your hair. For the most part, it's riding on those few strands that will get tugged and they will break. So even with the best intentions and the best sort of elastics, breakage is almost inevitable. What I would suggest is just obviously not wearing such a tight ponytail. You probably figured that one out yourself. So reverse how you're thinking about your ponytails, and a scrunchie really is your best friend. I know we are in our feelings about scrunchies. Some people are pro scrunchies, some people hate them, but they really are one of the better ways to make sure that you protect your hair from damage. So think about changing over to a scrunchie. And it drops it on the floor. So for the next 2 weeks, whenever you're about to do something to your hair, be it washing it, be it thinking about your washing routine, be it leave-in conditioner, be it brushing your hair, which is something that you're probably doing pretty regularly, I want you to stop and reverse, or at least just stop and think about what you're gonna be doing, because a lot of us learn how to take care of our hair in childhood, and that's great. You do need to look, that is part of self-care, but we never think about it for a second more after we grow up and when we grow up, and there's no one to tell us. People will try and sell us expensive products. Try this shampoo, try this hair loss treatment and stuff like that. Try this expensive brush. But no one takes a second to actually think about what they're doing, like the actual routine that they're doing to their hair. They think what they learned in childhood is good enough. I'm not saying it was necessarily bad advice. Maybe whoever taught you how to look after your hair has really amazing hair and has better secrets than I even have here, in which case I want you to drop them below in the comments so I can hear them. But most of us don't really think about it that much. We just think that it's the products that are gonna help us, and they can help us. But I would say just take a long look at your actual routine and the things you're doing that could be causing hair loss due to damage, due to breakage. A lot of that is reversible. All you have to do is reverse your routine, and you'll have a lot better, healthier, shinier, happier hair. That's all I had to say about that. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, well then, I hope to see you soon for the next one.